There's a certain type of person that's just born with a heart 3 times as large as the rest of us. They care about things like nobody else does. They feel the pain of others in ways that most of us never will. When others bleed, they bleed too. They're the first person to fight for a cause and the last person to give up on someone. And these wonderful people, this special type of person, these individuals have been all but abandoned by the right. So I'll preface this by just stating the obvious, which is that I'm going to make a lot of generalizations. Also, the way that I'm framing the social justice warrior is just sort of a construct that conservatives would understand. These loose descriptions are more useful than they are accurate. If you are on the right, you know exactly what I mean when I say social justice warrior. No introduction needed. So no introduction will be given, other than to acknowledge 2 basic attributes. Firstly, the social justice warrior will fight for something. It's just in their DNA. As surely as they take their next breath, they will fight for something they care about. And secondly, they can be, more so than the average person, pretty impressionable. And that's the bit that the right has failed to capitalize on. These are people who care with all of their heart about things and will probably spend the rest of their lives going through cycles of picking up things of moral weight, things with strong real-world implications, things with emotional gravity, and fighting like hell for those things. And those cycles that they attach themselves to, those moral injunctions, those ideas, are as much as any idea mostly provided to them by their environment. And the environment that the right cultivates is morally dry, morally desolate. It is not a place that provides much for the social justice warrior, at least as perceived by them. The right has not given the social justice warrior much to fight for. A larger theme that I'll keep returning to on this show is just the absence that the right has in terms of the culture war. But as it pertains exactly here, the point is just that conservatives have failed to feed the best attributes of our most caring members of society. Transgenderism, left. Racism, left. Poverty, left. On and on. The left sets the trends, they craft the narratives, they're the ones always caring about the perceived crisis. Look, the social justice warrior gets a bad rap. The INFP, the INFJ personality type, I mean, yeah, I disagree with nearly everything that this kind of person generally stands for. But that is because they were given nothing else to stand for. You know? Like they weren't given much to fight for. They weren't given much to exercise their impulses on. Until the left adopted them. Until they gave them a cause. Gave them on a silver platter all manner of ideologies, thinking paradigms, culturally relevant issues to bleed for, to fight for, to commit themselves to, just to care about. And you know what, maybe the reasons for that, maybe the reasons are understandable. Maybe the SJW disproportionately inhabits a personality type that the right just doesn't care to entertain. But they should care, because that personality type is extraordinarily rare in the shaping of the culture war and the shaping of our political landscape. I'll say that again, the social justice warrior is extremely important in the culture war. Right or wrong, grounded or not, they're an important chess piece that can't be ignored. And so now we are here, the left has taken them under their wing. Fed them passions, fed them ideas. They took an anxious boxer in a ring with nothing to punch and gave him something to fight. They took a person who finds satisfaction in bleeding for others, put a sword in their hand, called a thing a dragon, and then just had to sit back and watch as that person began swinging away. The bottom line is that the left is great at capturing the attention of the social justice warrior, great at crafting causes, and the right just sucks at this for a number of reasons that I'm not going to dive into here. For now, I'm just going to assert that it has something to do with Christian culture, as well as something to do with the mental makeup found more generally in conservatives. That's all I want to say on this here, we'll definitely come back to it later. But whatever the reasons, I am solidly convinced that most social justice warriors, if not all, almost view the dynamic between the left and the right as almost being so dramatic in terms of the amount of activism found between them that it would appear that only one side even cares, or cares enough to fight. So the choice just seems obvious to them. The problem with the right isn't that that ideology has run out of work to do. It isn't that there's nothing left to fight for if you're on the right. There's plenty of fight left to be had. The problem that the right has is just that they fail to provide that fight. They have failed to capture the heart of the social justice warrior. So how we got here, how we got to a point where the SJW is almost entirely claimed by the left, however that happened, the right should consider trying to win them back over. And going forward, the way to do that is to begin by properly educating ourselves on what fights are out there, what fights are left to be had, and then begin crafting narratives and mission statements around those issues to deploy real targets for those looking to fight for something. And look, I mean, if I had kids someday, if I had a kid right now, if you've got a kid, if I've got a kid and he's got that fight in his eyes, if I pick up that he's got those personality traits, then I'm going to feed that with all kinds of worthy causes. I would cultivate that. I would put obstacles in front of him worth knocking over, because if I don't, someone else will. And of course, all of this begs the question, what are those issues that the conservatives should be leading the social justice warrior to? But that's for another video.